What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of D Lynn Reacts. I am your host, Mr. D Lynn, and if you just tuning in, welcome. Be comfortable. Hey, go get you a drink, go get your smoke. Whatever you do, I just need you to be real comfortable. If you don't know who I am or what I do, I react to paranormal videos. I react to anything dealing with the spiritual aspects of life. A lot of the videos I react to are these people I'm fond of, or these people that I already consume their content. So what I do is react to it with y'all to get another take on what y'all think. So without further ado, we're gonna get into the next story. This story is about the dark secret behind the Shea family curse. That's interesting. I'm gonna give you a little backstory before we start this presentation. Back in 2003, Ben and Jamie Shea discovered what seemed like the perfect place to call home, an, an old 18th century house tucked away in Lamar, Arkansas, not far from Little Rock. But the charm came with something unsettling. Strange symbols, pentagrams marked across one of the rooms. Not long after settling in with their three children, an 11-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, and their infant baby, they began to notice disturbing events. Ben, who often worked late overnight shifts, would hear the sound of a baby crying through the monitor, even when the baby wasn't even in the house. Their young son reported voices in his room, while their daughter saw toys turning on by themselves. Jamie was often startled by the sound of heavy footsteps on the staircase, despite knowing the rest of the house was asleep. Eventually, Jamie spoke with a local who had previously lived there and revealed the chilling truth. The home who was said to be haunted by the spirit of a little boy, but according to her, it was something darker and moved in something. According to her, it was something darker had moved in since something far more sinister. Soon after that, a small paranormal investigation team attempted a cleansing, a ritual bath in the presence, but whatever lurked inside wasn't ready to leave. This upcoming documentary takes you deeper into the Shea family's terrifying experience and uncovers the side of the story that most people have never heard of before. I've been working on this project for the past 3 months, and now you'll finally see the full story unfold. Listen, y'all, I'm not politically correct. I'm not finna get on here and act like I'm finna run through the whole thing and not make no mistakes. I'm a regular dude on YouTube, man. So hey, give me the benefit of the doubt. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video and see what's really going on with this, man.
When a young family moves into a spacious century home in rural Arkansas, they think they've gotten a deal of a lifetime.
The fireplace was all boarded up, and there was spray painted on the boards was like a pentagram. And there were bits of candles. Looked like they had a seance or something in that room.
Jamie would unexpectedly meet someone who once lived at her house.
And she said, I lived there when I was a kid. And I was like, really? And she said, yeah, it's haunted.
She also explained that in the 1800s, a boy had fallen to his death out of one of the second-story windows.
Now you see how she said this so casually. The girl told her where she stayed. She was like, "Oh yeah, I used to live there. It's haunted." Like it was nothing. Like she was a matter of fact, knowing that it was haunted. Man, this should be interesting, man. If y'all ain't subscribed to the channel by now, man, go and subscribe, right, man. That button right there. Go and hit that subscribe button.
There was an old Confederate cemetery that was about 100 yards behind the house.
Tragedy would strike after picking her children up from school.
They were doing construction on the road at the time, and one of the barrels was out of place, and so I went to like dodge it, and I just overcorrected, and we ended up flipping several times. Sometime in that process, Tori was ejected from the van, and the van rolled over on top of her, and she was pinned.
Now That sounds like a bad car wreck. Now I got to hear more about the story, but it seems like they was coming down the freeway and something was in the middle of the road and she veered off the road and hit a tree or something. We finna find out, man. I don't know.
In October 2003, Jamie and Ben Shea began searching for a larger home to raise their growing family.
We had 3 kids. Tori was the oldest. She was around 10, I believe. Bridger is our middle. He was around 5. And then we had Jackson, who was around 8 months old. We were just kind of looking to find a bigger place, something a little nicer with more room and a big yard and lots of land.
After having little luck searching,
Real quick. If you guys got anything that y'all want me to react to, or any type of paranormal channel that you like, uh let me know because I might follow them too. And even if I don't, put me on something because I don't know everything and I don't know everybody. But if it's somebody that you think I should check out, let me know down in the comments. I'm more than willing to go over to their page, check them out, give a follow, and even react to some of that stuff.
Jamie would be informed about a historical property located in her hometown of Lamar, a small city situated in the Arkansas River Valley.
I have always been interested in old historical houses and specifically the colonial style houses with the big front porch. And my aunt actually told me about this place.
With some parts of the house being constructed in the late 1700s. It's known to be one of the oldest private residences in the state.
I was like, let's go check it out. And it wasn't even on the market, I don't think officially yet. So we kind of had first dibs at it. And I loved the front porch and all the land and the old buildings that were on the property and the big giant trees. It was just everything I had thought of when I thought of raising a family. And it had a lot of character.
See, why y'all be wanting to go out there, way out there in the country where ain't nobody yet? Like, that's why the worst stuff happen at. That's why all them demons be. That's why all of them be just walking around and man, because there's nothing else out there, man. Like, they be having seances going on out there in the country, man. Like, all type of stuff be going out there. So, nah, that's a no for me.
Because it was built in the 1800s and 1700s, some of it. So it was just the history, I think, is what drew me to the house.
Although the house had been vacant for some time, the price was considerably lower than similar homes in the area. And it was exactly what Jamie had envisioned for her family.
I think I could be wrong. It was sometime in the late 1700s was etched on the inside of the fireplace in the kitchen. And then on the outside of the fireplace on the other side of the house, which would be like the living room up to the upstairs bedroom, at the very top, it said 1811 was etched into that. And I feel like the only people in that area at that time was like a handful of French trappers. Like, it was not very inhabited. So I don't know how, I don't know.
Listen, y'all, that should be a red flag. Look how big and pretty that house is. And the house was cheap. If you ever come across a property just almost too good to be true, it's a reason that it's that cheap. It's always a reason. And you ain't just fall up on the gem and thinking, "Ooh, ain't nobody see this." Yes, a lot of people seen that. It's a reason it's still there, and the reason it's cheap because they're trying to get up off of it. pay attention. I know y'all might be want to get out there and just get your own place, but pay attention because you might be thinking you getting the deal, but you might be bargaining for something that you're not even ready for.
What the original reason for the house being built, because there really wasn't many people in that area.
While walking through the house, Jamie and Ben would make an unsettling discovery in one of the upstairs bedrooms.
When we first looked at the house, we did our walkthrough and it was very charming. And we went up the stairs, and the last bedroom we looked at was kind of shocking because we walked in and the fireplace was all boarded up, and there was spray painted on the boards was like a pentagram, and there were bits of candles and all kinds of weird, looked like they had a seance or something in that room.
Cut. Stop. Stop. Now, if you went into the house and you seen that in the house, let me know in the comments how many of y'all would have still purchased the house. I'm not like I'm already on the fence about it being so cheap and it's so big. But I go in there and I see that. Why would you even still wanna man, I gotta find somewhere else, but this is not gonna work for me, man. Sorry. Didn't mean to waste y'all time.
On the board, so not only was there a pentagram, but there was also a name of a boy that had actually died. And someone had written his name, full name, first and last name, in spray paint on the boards. So, I mean, it was kind of shocking to see that, but we just wrote it off as, okay, kids broke in, they're doing their thing, you know, playing around. At that time, I didn't really give it a whole lot of thought, and it definitely wasn't a deterrent for buying the house.
Of course it would.
The Sheas remained enthusiastic about the house and believed a deal this good only comes once in a lifetime. Her husband Ben worked nights as a nurse at a nearby factory, while also going to school for a degree in theater.
He was also attracted to the space and the big trees in the yard, and also just the character of it being in such an old historic place.
That's why, man, I don't like them old, man, maybe just me. I don't like them old houses. Them old houses be seeming creepy to me, man, because they be big, they be spacious. But if you ever been in a real old house, it's just a whole gloom in there that just like, nah, I don't like it. Just like a empty space is like almost like a portal feeling. It's weird.
It just had a lot of charm, and we were both very attracted to just the fireplaces. I mean, what house has 4 fireplaces, you know? It was amazing. The price was right, it was beautiful, it had a lot of history. I was sold.
After settling into their new home, the family quickly falls into a busy routine. With their hectic work schedules, the couple hires a family friend to watch 8-month-old Jackson during the weekdays until Jamie arrives back home.
It was a friend of mine. Her name is Desta. And she also worked with me. We did some creative projects together, and she volunteered to come and take care of the baby because the other two were in school while Ben slept, so that he could come home from work at 7, sleep a few hours, and then go to class.
Hey y'all, wait. Real quick, before we finish the video, if you haven't subscribed by now, make sure you hit that bell notification. Turn on your turn on your notifications, so whenever I drop more of these videos, y'all can be notified. You don't want to miss these, man, because this is what I do. I'm going in, man. Y'all already know, man. I keep y'all up to date of what's going on. You know, a lot of y'all might have jobs, and a lot of y'all or maybe in school or doing whatever you do, just living everyday life. I'm gonna come bring you these reaction videos, so whenever you get off, whenever you get out of school, you got something to watch. Let's go.
While he was a nurse, he was also going to school for theater.
Shortly after moving in, Jamie hosts a yard sale to try and sell anything her family doesn't need anymore.
So another thing that happened was when we first moved into the house, we had a big garage sale, where's a yard sale, to get rid of some stuff. And I was just sitting on the porch, and this lady came up, and she was just kind of looking around and, you know, looking at the porch, and she put her hand on the railing and was just like, there are a lot of spirits in this house. She's like, there's a lot of energy going on here. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, there's just, I can just tell there's a lot of spirits in this house. She's like, I can feel it. And that freaked me out for sure.
Of course, it's gonna freak you out. When somebody tell you that's excuse me. When someone tells you there's a lot of spirits going on in this house, it's like she had all of the red flags, but she still refused to not want to be in the house because she feel like she was missing out on the deal.
The interaction came off as strange, but Jamie didn't initially put too much thought into it, as there were several Confederate grave markers from the 1800s, only 100 yards behind her property.
What?
It's a Confederate cemetery. I did check out the graves and took out like some big etching paper and etched some of the stones. They were so old and worn out, you couldn't always read, you know, what it said unless you did the charcoal and etched over it. There was a driveway too on the back side of the house that would lead to the cemetery.
Wow.
Ben would follow his usual routine of sleeping for a few hours before getting ready for class. His short rest would be interrupted by the sound of crying coming through the baby monitor.
And he kept hearing the baby crying, and we had Desta there to take care of the baby so that he could sleep. And he was frustrated because he was like, why is she not picking up Jackson? He's crying.
When the crying wouldn't stop, Ben went upstairs to check on his son.
And so he ended up getting up himself and going upstairs, and there was no one there. Desta had taken Jackson out so that he could sleep. And the baby monitor had crying, and it woke him up. And then he...
So it's the child coming through the child monitor, even though the baby wasn't even there. They thought that the baby was up there crying because the child monitor is going off, and then there's a baby in the background. But when they go up there, I guess the babysitter had took the baby off, so it's not even a baby up there.
Went up
Wow.
there and there was no baby.
Unsure what to make of it, Ben keeps the strange incident to himself. A few nights later, 8-year-old Bridger also noticed unusual activity.
Bridger pretty much from the very beginning, I would say within a few months of moving into the house, started saying that he was having a hard time sleeping. He would want to come down and sleep with us, and he never really did that when we lived in other places, so we thought it was kind of odd.
When this became a common occurrence, Jamie and Ben decided to question their son further.
We finally asked him, why are you scared? And are you scared you don't like your new room? We would try to, pick his brain. And finally he said that he kept hearing people talking. And I said, who? Is Tori on her phone? Or, I tried to question him. And he said, no, it just sounds like a bunch of people talking over each other. He's like, a bunch of people talking all over each other. And I can't understand what they're saying.
Wow.
I remember.
Real quick, as always, I always like to leave a link in the description to the video of the original creator. So I always like to give them props. So I will leave the link in the description if you want to hear the video or see the video in its entirety without me reacting to it. I'll leave the link in the description for y'all.
Just saying, sometimes, these old houses, they make weird noises, and, the windows aren't that thick. Maybe you're hearing the neighbors talking. We'll check it out. Also, I thought he might have just been dreaming. And so I was like, sometimes, you dream things and they seem real. And I would try to just, calm him down and make him relax. And a lot of times he just ended up sleeping in our room because he didn't really like to sleep up in his room.
Whatever was lurking in their new home continued to make its presence known during the night.
We heard knocking on the wall right behind us, and it sounded like not just knocking, but it sounded like someone was pounding on the wall. And it would start with just like one, and then it would kind of startle us, settle back in to sleep, and then it would be like 2 loud knocks, and then 3 loud knocks. We were like, what is that? Because it wasn't a creak, it wasn't a, something shifting. It sounded like literally a fist on the wall right above our heads.
Although they find the experience odd, Jamie and Ben believe there must be a rational explanation for the bizarre knocking.
It's an old house, it has a lot of sounds, there's probably a lot of settling of the foundation. I would try to come up with anything else besides it being something paranormal.
Trick or treat.
Good house is across the street, kid.
Thank you.
I got dots.
You got dots?
Halloween came and went. It had been 2 months since the Shea family moved into their new home. Around the same time, while going to get groceries, Jamie has an unexpected encounter with a woman who claimed to have grown up in her house.
I was going shopping just at the local Walmart, and when I walked in the door, the greeter that happened to be working that day said, "Hey, are you Jamie?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Do you live in that house in Lamar?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "My family used to live in that house. I lived there when I was a kid." And I was like, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah, it's haunted." And I said, "Oh." And this is when we first moved in. So this was brand new. And this is we had maybe heard the knocking on the wall at that point.
Hey y'all, I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna make a part 2 to it while she actually goes deeper into really what's going on. So excuse me, I gotta get some water, but I'm gonna make a part 2 to this so y'all can really get the gist of what's going on, because this video gets kind of long and I don't want to make it a whole hour and a half. So I'm just gonna break it up into parts for y'all. So make sure y'all stay tuned, because I'm gonna drop that part 2 where it gets a little bit better. Until then, I'll holler at y'all.